Good day to you, one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. I'm back home after what can only be described as a monumental weekend celebrating the life and music of Taylor Hawkins. I noticed that a lot of you guys have used the more recent videos to make comments about the tribute show and specifically my contributions to it. So we'll do a comments day at some point this week, and I'll address a lot of those. It's just feels a bit weird after all that to be home again. It's strange. That whole thing was pretty seismic, but I'll talk about it later. Today I'm talking about the Arctic Monkeys because they've got a new song out called "There'd Better Be A Mirrorball." Actually, it came out in August. Produced by James Ford, and it's from their upcoming 7th album, The Car, and this is their first single release in 4 years. So I'll have a listen to it, and we can react together. What do you think? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Justin Hawkins rides again. Not major, it's minor. So I better put my headphones on for this, I think. Let's have a little listen. I haven't heard it before. But obviously, it being the Arctic Monkeys, I think you know my feelings on that band. I'll be quite excited to hear it. Some facts about Arctic Monkeys. They were formed in 2002. Their debut album, Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not, became the fastest selling debut album in UK chart history. In the UK, the band became the first independent label band to debut at #1 in the UK with their first 5 albums. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? Matt Helders is inspired by Led Zeppelin's deceased drummer, John Bonham. He said Bonham was my biggest hero. I think he just inspires me to play drums in general. Alex Turner, that's the singer, said that his favourite album is Rubber Soul by the Beatles. That's a great album. Some really good stuff on there. I should probably do like a top to bottom banger on some Beatles stuff. I mean, it's really weird to me when somebody says, "Oh, I've always hated the Beatles." What the fuck? Get over yourself. The Beatles are amazing. Josh Homme, I always would pronounce that Hom actually. Tell me if I'm wrong. Of Queens of the Stone Age, produced their 3rd album, Humbug. Josh Homme, of course, also contributed to the Taylor Hawkins tribute show, and he was amazing. Okay, so let's have a look at this now. I'm going to click on the link. There'll probably be some adverts, and then we can get cracking. Yeah, brilliant. This video is fucking amazing. Okay, so this has got a little bit of that Scott Walker vibe about it. Let's check that first chord. I think something really interesting is happening harmonically in the first moment. So that first... What is this instrument that's playing this? It's definitely a piano, and then some cellos or violas are sort of playing the same melody in unison. The bass is on a D, so I think it's slid up from an A, which would be the 5th. It suggests that the key's D. But what's really interesting is the melody of that first bit. It rests in the last movement on a D flat, so it's literally a semitone away from what the bass is doing. Which makes it really eerie to listen to, doesn't it? I love it when bass lines do that. Should have thought about whistling, shouldn't they? Well, they know where I am. And then it goes up to an F. That's what I thought. Okay, so and then the bass goes up to an F, and then that melody also transposes up 3 semitones, and so the relationship of those interesting sort of suspended major 7th notes in relation to the root is the same. So that weird eerie thing doesn't leave you, you know, they just modulate it and put it somewhere else in the second half of the melody. What's that? Then it goes to a G. Aha. Then it changes. When it goes to the G, it's suggested it's a G minor because the melody changes in relation to the root note, because it starts off on the root, and then when it plays like a, what would be a 9th or 2nd and 3rd really in minor. Okay, I want to see where that goes after. Hang on. And then so the root is E. Gives it a little bit of Eastern flavour there. What's that chord? So it sounds like the root's on A flat or G sharp. It might be a E7. Something like that. God, it's gorgeous, isn't it? So that chord's really interesting. Seems like it's got a D, a G sharp, and then another D at the top, obviously. What a ballsy chord to finish that whole sequence on. I mean, don't you think it's kind of the last thing you would expect? You know, it doesn't resolve in any way at all, just leaves you with this suspense. It's amazing. And then this brilliant shot of Alex Turner's face, and he looks like, I think he just looks like Serge Gainsbourg in this. The only thing missing, of course, is a cigarette.
Don't get emotional, that ain't like you.
Okay, this is Scott Walker to the max.
But that's nothing new.
I think, you know, can you hear that sound? That sort of motif that's playing in the background. I feel like that might be on a Mellotron. We're not seeing the actual keyboard in the video. But it sort of has a sort of orchestral vibe, but it's played on a keyboard, so presumably that would be, traditionally that would be a Mellotron doing that, which is like an ancient, almost medieval version of an Akai sampler, where across the keys a little tape loop corresponds to every key press, and then it plays a previously recorded note that would have been on whatever it would be, a cello or a it might be flute's patch or whatever. But it has the way they're using it is really like when he presses it, it's kind of sounds like it's going in reverse somehow. Like the attack of the notes completely lost. You don't have traditional kind of synthesis envelopes on those keys. They really just the tape head hits the tape, and then it starts playing. So sometimes you hear it whirring up a little bit if it's not a very well maintained mellotron. This might be like a digital version of one. Everybody should look up the mellotron. It's a brilliant instrument. I'm told that Genesis, when on the road, always had 2 mellotrons. One of them was permanently in service.
I know I promised this is what I wouldn't do.
A lot of moving parts on a mellotron.
But somehow giving it the old romantic fool.
You can tell he's in crooning mode because he's buttoning up his cuffs on his shirt. I mean, the old crooners, of course, they would choose a microphone for their studio based on how well it matched their bathroom suite. You know, that's why you end up with a lot of crooners singing into avocado-coloured microphones. It really was about the aesthetic and the emotion.
You're getting cynical, and that won't do.
I love when in this video when the drummer sort of falters, or it sounds like he's missed like a beat on the, because he's playing like a on a ride cymbal, and occasionally there's a sort of pause in the, you know, he's in the pattern. He sort of doesn't always hit it. So he might go, and you see him shrugging, you know, like he's working out a knot in his shoulder. It's really well observed, I think, and I love this video. Actually, it's really atmospheric. Those guys in the olden days, they used to hold their microphone about 100 miles away from their lips. You'd have to really believe in your surroundings to be able to do that in a studio. Modern sort of rock microphones, they have like the SM58, for example, which is the classic rock microphone that Bon Scott would use live. You'd have to have your lips right on it to be able to get anything, because it's designed to eliminate the sound from the sources around it, like the amps and the drums and everything. And seeing him holding a microphone there is really, it's a nod to the crooners that would have an orchestra set back behind them at such a distance that it wouldn't get picked up by the mic.
Oh, there'd better be a mirrorball.
This is a really well-observed piece of easy listening music. It reminds me of the kind of stuff I used to listen to when I was at college. There's no chorus in it, it's just a lovely bit of crooning. And you hear the sort of bongos coming in around about 4 minutes. And it really reminds me of, like, arrangement-wise, a less intense version of something like Enoch Light and the Light Brigade, or something like that. You know, it just sounds like a late 60s easy listening record. It's great. That's really good. That's sexy. I like that. Nice one, Arctic Monkeys. Wow. I mean, this is... I'm increasingly admiring artists that put a song out that doesn't have a sort of recognisable refrain in it. I mean, I suppose refrain, the re part of it, perhaps that refers to the fact that it's something that repeats, and it's kind of like, you know, a hook. Or, people call it a hook because it's something that you can hear coming, and you always have a part of the song that you learn first, and you recognise it by that, and that's the sort of chorus, as it were. But there's no such thing in this, and I think it's way better for it. It's really beautiful. Bears repeat listenings. I'm sure I'm going to dive in and listen to it more carefully. But it's excellent, so I recommend you check it out. Justin Hawkins rides again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and watch one of these 2 videos. Nice one, guys. Brilliant stuff.